Real estate means not just the transaction, but that process, that promise of helping me to find a home. And as a consumer, that's all I care about. The technology you use, the magic tricks you get to help get my interest rate down 0.5%, how you navigate the listing and stage the furniture in the room, and the words you use on my listing to get the buyers. It's like the milkshake brings all the boys to the yard to get all the buyers to my yard. Like, that was for you, Keith.
Yes, ma'am.
Just started laughing hysterically. You talk about it privately. We talk about it publicly. This is the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered Podcast. Welcome again to the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered Podcast. I'm your host, Twiggy, along with my co-host. So you all are going to get to experience two guys fanboy over somebody, and it's both of us this time. And I don't do this very often, but Beverly W. Jackson, I threw the W in there because she would have scolded me for not doing that. Vice President of Brand and Product Marketing at Zillow. I will just start with this and let Keith take over. The amazing advertisements and commercials you see from Zillow, which are, in my opinion, the best, is from her. And Keith, just give some background on her, like where she's been. Like, just so people have context.
Brace yourself, kids. This one's a rodeo. She's hilarious. She's awesome. She talks about her amazing background, the things she's accomplished in her career. She's such a thoughtful storyteller. We spent a lot of time on storytelling and the importance of it and how it matters that we share these stories of residential real estate and what we do. Her definition of what marketing is, which I found very interesting. The difference between data and insights. For me, that was a big mind shift. How to become the authors of your story, a brand evolution, what that looks like, how to get vulnerable on camera, not talking to everyone. You're talking to the one who needs to see you. Identifying your superpower and how to amplify it. Then she gives us this step-by-step, like she goes from all this high level, 30,000 foot, like just genius to, and then here's the camera you need, the mics you need, right? And down to step-by-step tactical approach to tell these stories. You are going to love this conversation. And if you didn't, I did. And that's enough for me. Put it in your ears, kids.
Beverly, welcome to the show.
Yes.
I am, and I know Keith is, but we are super excited to have you here. Full background, just to tee this up real fast. Beverly graced us with her presence on our stage at our annual conference, where you were the hit by like a long shot on our speaker surveys. And I'm excited for this pod because, you know, I am definitely passionate about our industry doing a much better job of thinking how we communicate with the consumer. And I feel like our industry is like way in the wrong direction. And you have been the architect of some of the greatest advertisements in residential real estate, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, they're not even really ads. It's storytelling.
They're storytelling. So thank you for being here. We want to be able to share, what we've got to hear from you with our viewers and listeners. So tee us up a little bit about your background for those that don't know you, just kind of how you got into residential real estate, your career, and where you are today. And then my partner in crime will have a follow-up for sure.
Usually. Yeah.
That is the most epic introduction. I think it's not quite as cool as the one from this spring, but it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well,
hey
Keith
guys.
did one in the spring.
Hi. Yeah.
It's great to see both of you. I feel like we are have been separated and now we're back together. So I'm really excited to be here. Couldn't think of a better thing to do on a Friday afternoon. So thank you for having me.
That.
Yeah, let's go.
I am currently the head of brand, product, and integrated marketing at Zillow, which is probably the most epic job in all of real estate right now. And tech is actually a pretty cool tech job as well. So I'm honored and just overwhelmed often with the enormity of the work that I get to do with this incredible brand. But I come to Zillow by way of more than 25 years working on some of the world's largest brands and some of the world's largest stages. So I've worked at Twitter, not X. I've worked at Activision, Blizzard. I was a gamer for a while. I've worked at MGM Resorts here in Las Vegas, where I got to lead 27 global brands across hospitality, entertainment, live sports, launching a WNBA team, opening a couple of stadiums. I've worked at Yahoo with some like really iconic content, and I spent a bunch of time at the Grammys as well, sort of changing the way you interact with live television and the socials, if you will. So
do you have a little
big
experience?
stages.
What the?
A little bit.
Dang.
Big brands, big stages, big moments for these brands. I usually don't come in when a brand is like in the middle of its life. I come in at those opportunities when the brand is looking to propel or to like really have like some transformational growth moment or like change or do something new. So that's me and my brand background. But, you know, I like to say I'm Southern born, Midwest bred, East Coast educated, West Coast curated, and globally inspired. That is me.
What
Yeah.
I love it.
Dang. You should be in marketing. Like, that was pretty good.
I'm gonna work on my resume there, Keith.
Yeah. So you've done some really interesting things. My guess is you've met some really interesting people. I have no idea why I want to ask you this question, but I do. Who is the most interesting celebrity you've met?
Oh, I have 2 or 3.
Okay.
But the easy one is my first year at the Grammys. It was the first year we did a live broadcast of the nominations, because usually like you get up really early in the morning and somebody reasonably famous reads the nominations in a long list, and then everybody downloads the PDF of the list and thinks about who their favorite person is that got nominated or if they got missed. And so that first year we did a live nomination at the theater down in downtown LA. And afterwards there was this big rockin' party, because, you know, it's a music industry, it's a big party. And I got to meet my dad's favorite person, and I could not wait to go tell my dad that I met him, was BB King.
Stop.
Oh, I did. So John Mayer and BB King did like a duet that year. And afterwards at the party, BB King was there and he asked to meet me. He was like, "Who's that girl?" And I was like, "Who, me?"
Ooh,
and
Beverly.
I got to like talk to him and like shake hands with him and give him a hug and just really like hear him tell stories. And so that one will always stay in my heart. And then I went home and called my dad and woke him up and was like, "I'm never going to believe who I met. I met BB King." My father had 2 reactions. A, why are you calling to wake me up? And 2, did you get an autograph from me? And I was like, didn't,
like,
and
no.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Good morning and no. Those were the answers to
And
that.
bye-bye.
Yeah. Wow. What a background. Well, we'll start on the rapid fire questions and then we'll dive in. But I am a pretty voracious reader. I love to know how people are consuming content. So favorite book or podcast that you listen to ever, that you recommend, whatever is fine. Just when you want to put something in your mind, where do you go?
So you're going to think, well, you already know that I'm slightly different. Non-conventional is what they tell me.
Okay.
Unconventional is what they tell me.
Well, I'm the crazy Uncle Keith, so I get it. Yeah.
I love podcasts. Like, so I was a weird kid who used to like to listen to talk radio. And so when podcasts came back around, I'm like your girl. I'm all in. And I have a soft space in my heart for mysteries and true crime and how to solve a thing. Because I'm kind of I want to fix a problem. And so I'm currently obsessed, and this is like a 4-year obsession, with the Wondery's podcast called The Vanished. Do you know how many people go missing in this country? Like,
I do not.
So I'm a digital girly, right? Like I'm a digital marketer. I love all things digital. I have all the gadgets. You know that I've got like 2 or 3 phones and 2 iPads and
that I do
a
know.
computer
We
and all
just
the
saw
things.
that.
Yeah.
9 AirPods. Yeah, we saw.
Not I'm that person, right? I like fall in and I got like a whole bag for my technical stuff. But given all of the sort of digital devices and all the ways we're connected, every year in this country, people just go missing. They just vanish. no digital footprint of where they are. And there's like some of the greatest unsolved mysteries are in the people that just go missing. And so,
Someday.
and not far from foul play. Like we don't all
Yeah.
assume that they go from foul play. Although there's probably a little bit of that in it, but I'm obsessed with the stories of people who just go missing, who don't get to finish their story. And so for me, I'm obsessed. Like I listen to probably 4 of them a week.
Okay. I'm going to put that on my list.
I love it.
By the way, if I ever win the lottery, I'll be on that podcast because I'm going to vanish with the quickness. I'm going to be out.
You and I both. I'm like, they're going to be like, all of my devices will be sitting in the middle of the street. There'll be no digital footprint of me anywhere. They'll be like, she just disappeared into the ether.
I dream of this every day. By the way, literally, like, how do I just get out of here? Like, just turn everything off. No more social media and the dumpster fire it is or anything else. So
the podcast just goes away. Last episode,
you know,
Beverly Jackson.
We do it from an undisclosed location. I don't know. So
I'm gone. Yeah.
All right.
He's like, I'm out.
So my question is, you could have lunch with someone current or historical. Who would it be and why? And I'm really curious how you're going to answer this.
Me too.
So.
Oh, this one's an easy one for me as well. So I love disruptors and I love people that disrupt and create new categories, which is, you know, part of the reason I'm so attracted to Zillow. I would want to meet with Thomas Edison.
Oh, it's
I like for the man who like created light on demand. Like I want to talk to that dude. Like you were just sitting around and daylight wasn't enough. You had some stuff you needed to do at night, and
torches weren't really getting it done.
Torches and candles weren't your jam, and so you were like, I need light on demand. Cool.
Yeah.
And he also, you know, coming from the Grammys and having, you know, I'm a big music fan, and the idea that you can have sound on demand and like brings us all the way back to podcasts. And I think about like the idea of the importance of sound in storytelling. And so I think in a lot of ways with the invention of like recorded sound or sound on demand, that gets us to like past like the talking drums of Africa. And you think about the ways we tell stories and the ways we told stories before that, to where we are today. It's like so powerful. And I just want to talk to him and just figure out like, could you have imagined where recorded sound and visuals would go from here to there?
Yeah. We've never had anybody, have we had anybody state? We have not. No.
And if we did, we didn't have them say it so eloquently for sure.
For sure. It's a really, it's a really good one. It was, I was watching the skit the other day from Nate, who hosted the Emmys.
Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
And he did he did the skit, the SNL skit on television, which Washington. They used to, was a playoff of the Washington skit. I was laughing at it, but people who didn't see the skit on SNL of Washington would not quite get that skit, but just meeting the inventors of things would be really fascinating.
This is imagine talking to someone who's like created something that didn't even exist, and then you're being the benefactor of that invention now in a way that they couldn't possibly have anticipated, or maybe they did, you know, but like we couldn't have known where this was going to go.
Whoa, I had no idea it was going to end up here. Yeah, no,
exactly.
Sure. AI would scare the hell out of them.
Scares the hell out of us.
Yeah, fair.
I'm scared.
All right. So let's get deep into this stuff. This happens to be, and we're going to focus this pod. So viewers and listeners, it's going to be really a lot around marketing, advertising, and like how you attract the consumer and just how you stay relevant with them. And I'm going to start this with this question. So, you know, Zillow is obviously synonymous with home search in the US. Like it is a household name. And I want to relate this. So I'm going to ask this question about Zillow, but then I want to try and relate everything back to agents and brokers in this discussion, because you did an amazing job on stage of helping people in the audience think about things differently. So how do you keep the brand fresh and relevant as the consumer behaviors evolve and change? Like what is the process you're going through to take a brand that's been around, I believe 20 years now? Is that right?
20 years. We're coming up on our 20-year anniversary or our birthday.
Okay. So
send presents.
You can almost drink.
It's not a new brand. It's been around a while. It's the #1 website for search. And so how do you think about that? Like if you've been here, I think you've been in Zillow for about 2.5 years. Is that right?
3 years. Yeah. Coming up on 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, tell us the thought process you go through. Like, what are you doing to continue to make sure that it stays relevant and evolves with consumer behavior and change. Talk to us about that.
Sure. Okay. So marketing, generally speaking, is supposed to be and is and should be the voice of the customer, be the voice of the customer and the voice of the consumer. So if we start there, I've got to be able to be aligned to where my consumers are going. And so I live in a space, and Zillow does as well, where there's lots of data and insights. And so a lot of people will conflate data and insights. And I think you have to separate them out very clearly, right? Like there's the data, the raw numbers, what does the volume say, all of that. And then there's the insight. And the insight then gives you the story to be told, right? And so it's more than, and when you're a brand like Zillow, which lives in a space of culture, right? And so everybody knows us for searching for homes and dreaming and aspirations. But the back end of that, especially for agents and brokers, is the transaction. It is not just the dreaming and like searching and being aspirational and being ethereal in that, but like people want you to solve a problem for them. And so if marketing is the voice of the customer and the customer wants us to solve a problem around finding a home, finding an apartment, finding their next home, finding a new home, figuring out how to afford a home, when should I move? How do I find the right agent for me? How do I find the right community for me? If that's the problem to solve, then on the agent side, I've got to make sure that the information I'm giving, reflecting, voicing, advocating for on the customer side meets that need. I have to meet in the middle, right? And so,
those things can be at odds to some degree.
They can very much be at odds. They can very much be at odds. The problem with just being in a space where people are dreaming of what they want and not giving them a way to actualize what they want and then helping them to understand. Because sometimes for me, what I want and what I need and what I can actually afford are not all in the same place. And so
sometimes,
agents,
like all the time. Yeah, for me. I'm not speaking for you. But, yeah.
Well, sometimes my husband would say that as well. He would say sometimes like, your eyes are bigger than your wallet. So like stand down there, girl, stand down.
Yeah.
But the reality is that like people, especially new home buyers, right? Like they want to be able to figure out how to do it. And they don't know how to do it. Like they don't know. Like it gets harder and harder every day. It's an industry ripe with policies and regulations and stuff. And there's a lot of confusing information. And then you sort of need a good agent to help you sort of navigate through it. And so Zillow can't just be a place where you can search and find a home.
Right.
We've got to answer all those other questions. We've got to help you get to a great agent. And we got to tell the agents. We do the best work when we send to an agent and we offer to an agent an informed, confident consumer who knows the landscape and not just is like walking in and going, I love a $750,000 5-bedroom home with a pool in the back and an in-laws quarters and is on like 3/4 of an acres of land in the middle of, some urban area that's got a moat around it and a 7-foot wall.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
And so then the poor agent, we send you over without prepping you. And the poor agent gets and it's like, let me tell you what you can afford. You've got a down payment that equals to only about 10% of this.
Right.
And you don't have a realistic view of what the market is. And you've got a credit score of like 4.
Right.
That was for you,
That's
Keith.
Extreme. Yeah. That was 100% for crazy Uncle Keith over there. Yeah.
So we have an obligation to give the agent community and our partners on the agent side who are expecting and wanting us to show up in one way for them. We have an obligation to give them an informed, qualified populace that understands what they're doing.
And so this evolution of the brand and trying to find that balance, like I go back, I mean, you guys have had a journey over the 20 years I've been in the industry and have worked with Zillow for that long, where I feel like the company was very focused on the consumer out of the gate, and to be clear, still is. Yeah, just to be clear with my statement. But you've really honed in on the agent as well. I feel like over the past 5 to 10 years of trying to find that bridge between what the customer wants and what they're looking for, and then how you tie that to reality. of you need somebody with feet on the ground to do that. And I'm gonna tie this in. Like, you did an ad, the Journey, I think it's called the Journey Home.
Journey, yep.
The Journey. My favorite, and we'll put a link in the show notes here. It's my favorite real estate advertisement period that I've seen. I've watched tons of stuff, and this is not to hit on everybody else's try. But what I found really interesting about that ad was you focused on the consumer, the experience that this mom and her daughter were having about being turned down for like 8 houses at this point, and the raw experience of that. But you subtly, you knew the agent was right there with that customer.
Right.
You didn't make it about the agent, but the agent was there, and you saw her at different points in it and like kind of encouraging her to stay with it. We're going to get you there. And I thought it was just so well done from the emotions of a consumer, but as a consumer, I knew that the only way that shit was happening was there was an agent there right by my side. Like, you could tell that she was there, like making this stuff come together. And
it was a character in the commercial, right? The agent was a part of one of the characters in the story.
That's right.
That you told through that commercial. Yeah.
And she showed up at really important times. She showed up at really important times. So I'm going to talk about the ad for a second, but I want to give some context to something just for a second. So in my role as Zillow, I oversee our buyer business and our seller business, which is under the consumer umbrella.
Okay.
Right. I also oversee our rentals business, which is an important place because a lot of first-time home buyers come from our very robust rentals business. And then I oversee our agent marketing business as well. In the last year, I've spent 75% of my time on the agent side of the house. So while consumers continue to be our true north, I listen to so many calls with our team and real agents in the ground. I'm at events and in experiences, and I'm creating experiences where I'm like talking to agents more and more. Obviously one of the ways that like we got to know each other is I'm on stages, standing before agents, telling our truth and making a promise to them about how we are going to show up for them as a brand. That's 75% of my time these days because that part is critically important, and we need to get that right for the next transformational moment for Zillow. So now let's talk about the piece and why the agent was so important and so key to that. And by the way, this is a relatively new kind of an ad for us, and we're going to do some new stuff. So I want to make sure that I get to come back and share with y'all the new creative, because we're going to take it up a level. We're going to turn it up a notch, right? Like we got something for you. Keith,
if you
got
need,
a little something for you.
Do you need like a bald actor, maybe like slightly plus size, so he's accessible to the market?
You will need an extra insurance policy on that set.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Nah.
Okay, let me think about that. I'm going to run that by the team. I think there's something in ChatGPT for that. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, I'll wait. I got a question. So I find you to be an amazing and elegant storyteller. Like, even when you were talking about Thomas Edison in our open, you did it in a way like I found myself visualizing Thomas Edison in his workshop trying to figure it out, right? How did you develop? Imagine you've always been good at that, so great. But how do you develop that skill of storytelling? Maybe there's someone listening who's like, golly, I want to tell stories like Beverly Jackson. So is that something you've curated over time? How do you get better at it? Because it's a true skill, and you have a gift for it. Yeah.
Thank you. You're very, very kind. You will find quickly that I only talk about things I know about. I say this to anyone who is looking to get into like public speaking, for example, and standing on a big stage and talking to big audiences. I don't talk about things I don't know about, right? When you can talk about your lived experience, I can tell you my experience talking to agents and meeting them at the Zillow Rams draft house in LA, and the guy showing up in his own branded gear, because I don't know if he thought we weren't going to give him any branded gear or not. But so I can tell you what that felt like because I did that, right? And so like I'm going to be talking to some agents later on this fall at
Mhm.
Unlock, and we can talk about that later. But I'm telling you from my experience of having done this with big brands, small and large, and I've worked with some startup brands as well. We oftentimes talk about the big ones that make it on the slide, but I've worked with some small brands as well. I've owned my own agency. And so I find that you are most credible, you are most authentic when you, use your own voice to tell stories that you know and that you feel and that are personal to you. You can't go wrong there. It is the secret sauce. It is the thing we don't talk enough about. I also talk really fast, and I talk really fast. I feel like Keith and I would just be like on 2x speed all the time.
Yeah.
And James would be like, "I'm turning both of you off." He's like,
Probably
"You and me,
also
both of us."
true. Yeah, probably also true.
But I think about like, if I try not to overwhelm people with big multi-syllable words. Like I try to talk to people and I try to talk about things in a way that's like honest and real and at a level that makes sense. And the reason you can visualize yourself sitting with Thomas Jefferson in the dark is because, and why light on demand matters is because like, imagine if you didn't have light today and you'd be like, okay, so the podcast is over, not because we don't have anything else to talk about, because we don't have any light.
Right. We don't have electricity, and there's a lot of electricity happening right now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We need some of that. Right. And so I talk about things that way.
Even just the way that word imagine, right? When you use that word, it makes someone start imagining it, right? So you can use verbal cues in storytelling like that, and you do it really naturally. So, yeah. So
I want to tell you about this ad though, this journey. So I want to tell you about this,
please.
Right? Because this is important, because the agent is oftentimes in the background of the work, but their work is on the front foot and in the beginning of everything that happens, right? Like new home buyers don't even know how to go into someone else's home and look objectively and see themselves in it. It is an agent that helps you with that. And so when the little girl in the ad talks about like, that sure was a great kitchen, well, 8 other people thought so as well, it is probably the agent who brought that kitchen to life for those 8 other customers, right? And you think about like the mom is in the backyard looking up at the sky, and you can imagine that the agent is the one who said, don't just look in the house, go outside of the house and imagine what your life would look like and be like in this house outside of the house, because that is an extension of the home. And also, this is a great insight for us. When I talked about data and insights, one of the things that's really important as a data point is that like Beth is who we call our first time home buyer. What we found is that Beth doesn't make a buying decision alone. Beth comes to the table with a whole host of other influences on
like
the process.
The dad at the home inspection.
Beth comes with dad. Beth comes with YouTube if dad's not around. Beth comes with her Pinterest board that is all her inspiration and how she would put her things in there. Beth comes with all the other homes that she's liked on Zillow, so she's scrolling through those at the same time. Beth comes with her mom, who's looking to say, this is not this, that is like. Beth comes with the influencers that she's met on social media that have been part of the journey. The loan officer is typically there. And so the agent, the poor agent, has to manage all those things. Like, so the data says that Beth doesn't do this alone. The insight is that the agent has to create a narrative that works for all of them and stitch that all together. That's why the agent recognizes in the story that she's not just finding a home for the mom, but she's finding a home for the preteen teenage daughter. And so when the daughter, so at one point, I just want to say this, at one point in the story, mom gives up. Mom's like, I can't do this anymore. Mom's like, I can't. And every mom has been there and like, it's like, I can't, it's too much. I'm done. And we'll come back to it at another time. And the daughter is the one who finds the home that they wind up buying on Zillow. And then mom tells the agent, we got one. And the agent then makes that happen. So the agent is selling to both of them. She's managing the needs of both of them, not just one.
Well, I think you did a masterful job of, you said this multiple times now, and I want to make this point because I think the audience needs to hone in on this. You did a masterful job of explaining there's so much stuff going on behind the scenes that the agent is working through. But what they're doing is it was done in such a way that the agent was there. You know, the agent's working on this stuff, but they're clearing the way for her to go in and see the experience was, I got all this to come together. You're here, you're getting to see it, the tree she's looking at, the cabinet, the countertops, all of those experiences. And you know that there was a bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes. I want to make this point because I've been on a soapbox about this recently. And
get ready, y'all.
No, it's not. I'm not going to go on a soapbox. I feel like our industry, and you can tell you're the expert here. I am not by any means. I just think about how I consume information. I feel like our industry, generally speaking, this is James' opinion, not Beverly's, just for everybody hear this. We've made it all about us. And I feel like we've lost the point that nobody gives a crap about that. Like they're there for themselves. They want to buy a house. They're stressed. They've got a job. They've got kids. And our job is to clear that path. And so much of the advertising is just missing the mark on a seller wants to sell their house for the highest price possible in the least amount of time with least amount of stress. Buyer wants to buy the house for the lowest price possible in the least amount of time. And our job is to make all that happen as smoothly as possible and be therapists along the way. But we keep pushing the agent at the front. And the consumer's like, I don't want that. Like, just give me options. Like what? I guess my question, where did we go wrong on this? Is it we're not using insights and data? Like what is the industry getting wrong from understanding that it's about them and not about us?
Yeah. I think about it this way. I think about it in two parts. And I said this earlier, and I'll try to be eloquent, Keith, in explaining this. Marketing is supposed to be, should be, and must be the voice of the customer, right? Our brand is our most valuable asset, right? What Zillow brings to the table is the most valuable asset. Like that's why we have more traffic than anyone else. That's why people have turned Zillow into a verb, right? And people are Zillowing things. That's why it's such an important part of culture. But the relationships connected to the process are what everybody should be focused on, right? Because this isn't we're not buying we're not booking a hotel room. We're not buying a video game. We're not buying some sort of a consumer products good.
Right.
We're making a transaction and an investment. I even hate to call it a transaction, but it is technically a transaction. But we're making an investment in the most important thing that we will ever do, which is to find a structure that shelters, nurtures, supports, protects, and grows my family, myself, provides me with safety and assurance that when I lay my head down at night, I can get up to go do the next thing.
Yeah.
And that I don't take lightly. And so it's like, I think about this. Someone at Zillow said this, and I'm going to get this wrong and I won't know who said it, right? But it was the right thing to say. Zillow does tech so that agents and brokers can do real estate. And real estate means not just the transaction, but that process, that promise of helping me to find a home. And as a consumer, that's all I care about. The technology you use, the magic tricks you get to help get my interest rate down 0.5%, how you navigate the listing and stage the furniture in the room, and the words you use on my listing to get the buyers. It's like the milkshake brings all the boys to the yard to get all the buyers to my yard. Like that was for you, Keith.
Yes, ma'am.
Just started laughing hysterically.
But whatever it is you do that is special, it's that magic that the agent brings to that process. And that's what we all do. That's what the agent does.
Right.
That's what Zillow does in terms of the buyability technology that's running in the commercial, that is a part of the commercial as well, or part of the ad or part of the story. But it's really the sigh of when that mom hugs her daughter and says, it's ours.
All right.
That's
So
what we're all looking for. That's what the consumer wants.
I got to follow up. And then Keith, I know you, I just got to
No,
this one
you're
last
good.
and
No, go ahead.
You can go.
Yeah.
So Keith knows I get really giddy with these questions. There's a video that went around, and I use this also in my keynotes, where I show, I'm preface, It costs the agent nothing to do this. So I'm going to bring us back to like how we can help agents, because we've got, the best on our pod and want to make sure they walk away with stuff. It went viral, and it was a father and a daughter. He was, I think mom passed away. So, solo dad raising a daughter, and they're out in front of a house, and the daughter was there to see the property, and she really wanted it. And they said, the owners of the house are showing up. And so she started to get really emotional. You could see her do this, not staged. This was literally they were recording it. They were going to surprise her, and it unfolded in a different way than I think anybody thought. And then she got really disappointed. She started to cry. And then the agent goes, actually, you're the owners. And she stopped, and she turned around. She's like, really? And she's maybe like 13. And she turns to her father, like looking for like, did we actually get it? And he goes, yeah, baby, I got it. And he goes, I saved up money to be able to buy it. And she starts crying. I'm getting emotional right now. He starts crying like, I'm a father. The agent just hands her the keys, but you knew the agent made that shit happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was literally a live emotional moment where that whole experience was brought together by the realtor who had made that happen. And they were only on screen for like 3 seconds, but the emotional part of the dad's crying, she's dying. She's like, I'm so happy for you, Papa. And like, all I'm trying to get at is this. You guys have a massive budget to build the most amazing thing. And I have people say all the time, like, we can't compete with that. And I'm going, you don't need to compete, but you can do that. There's literally an example right here of somebody who did that same thing. And I show this in the audience, Beverly, and I'll have the whole damn crowd crying because everybody's been there and related to a client that's been through that. So,
okay,
go.
I'm just gonna run for a second here. Give me get in the words of Glorilla. Let me cook. Okay, that was for you, Keith.
Yeah, thanks.
James is like, what are the two of them?
No, I
James,
love it. I've got to see.
I'll translate for you later, James. I'll translate.
Okay, all right. So you might have to translate for the audience as well.
No,
here's
you're
the
good.
thing. I'm going to talk about this in later on in Las Vegas here. Here's the deal. Agents have more stories available to them than any of us. I have to go look for the stories. I have to go find the stories. I have to go find permission to tell the stories. I need data to support the insight. Agents are living these stories every day. Every day. Every time they close, every time they win a listing, every time they make it real for someone, they are their own storytellers here. And so here's the thing that I would say to any agent out there that's listening. You owe it to your brand, meaning you, agent. You owe it to your brand to become the provocateurs, to become the narrators, to become the authors of your story. Because the rest of us are waiting to amplify you. That's what I do with my big budget, and I'm using air quotes here. That's what I do. I amplify those stories. But they're your stories. They're your truths. They're your narratives. They're your work. It's your IP. And so we have a lot of people worried about the future of AI and what AI will do. I will say to you, and I said this yesterday, I was at Content Marketing World, and I was talking to a bunch of marketers from different brands and different verticals from around the world. And I said, AI is going to be AI, so you can go be you. So let AI be what it does. I tell my team, protect the stories, protect the storytellers. In this scenario, the agents are the storytellers. That story, James, could not be told by me. Right. That story belongs to the agent. But we got to get agents comfortable with some things. We got to get agents comfortable with the idea that they've got to be able to talk to a camera. Front facing, talk to the camera. They got to be comfortable in their own voice. They got to be comfortable with the sound of their own voice. They got to be comfortable being public, walking through this narrative, because the more often you do that, the more often you create a very special, unique place for your personal brand as an agent or a broker. And if you're a broker, it's great. If you're a team lead, you ought to be gathering those stories and amplifying them on behalf of your agents, because that becomes your broker/brand's superpower. It's in those stories. And by the way, no one's telling Zillow those stories. They're telling those stories to the agents.
Yeah.
They're telling them to the agents. By the way, and the agents are living with them. I have an agent that I've worked with. I won't say his name, but I've worked with him on a number of transactions. And in those transactions, my husband and I are never on the same page. Never. I love this agent. My husband hates that dude. My husband's like, I refuse to talk to him. And I'm like, he's my best friend. I'm buying him a drink. He's coming over for dinner. You just better lock in, buddy, because that man is our dude. And my husband's like, ugh.
Man, well, he might listen to this, so you know
he probably does.
If you're
and
out
I'm gonna
there,
post on social. So,
yeah.
Mark, I love you.
Mark, we love you.
Mark, we love you. But here's the thing about the story for him. Mark is the person who told me that when I bought this house, that it was going to be okay, that I didn't have to live with the 5 different types of flooring that were in this house. Like
Right.
literally there were 5 types of flooring. And I was like, Mark, what would that cost? And I remember I have a front door. And my first reaction to the front door was, I hate this door. It has to go. This door looks so cheap. Like, who put this door in here? In the house. And I'm like walking through the house. And this was, of course, not being recorded on the Ring doorbell. So that's something I always tell people
Be
as well.
careful. Yeah.
Be careful what you're saying. But I was like, this door must go. And Marco said to me, and now that we're calling him out, Mark said to me, Beverly, I'll take the door from you. I'll pay for the door. I'll buy the door. I'll take the door off your hands. And I was like, really? Why would you want this old door? He goes, because that door cost $35,000. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I love this door. This is my
best door I've ever seen.
It's the best door I've ever seen.
We might turn this door into a dining table. Yeah.
I don't know. This door is now the thing. And I was like, I never would have known that. I didn't know it. I couldn't have known it. But Mark told me that. In every house that I've ever purchased with Mark has said to me something that I didn't see myself. And I've done a couple transactions. I got a couple real estate transactions under my belt. Yeah. I'm not a real estate agent, but I try to play one on TV. No, I'm joking. I don't. But like real estate agents own this story. Like as Zillow, from the brand perspective, we're always trying to like hear your stories. I have a whole team of people that like follow agents looking for their stories because they own these stories.
But to be clear, the story needs to be told like how you just did it. So Mark needs to have you talking about, am I off here? Like you need to talk about Mark literally almost didn't tell you had a $35,000 door you were going to throw out. Because if Mark says, I'm a great agent and I saved her $35,000 on the door, it sounds different than if the customer is talking about the experience. So,
but they have to figure out how to center that, right? And like in the relationship, during that transaction, during that journey, the most trusted person on your team, and there are lots of influences, but the most trusted person on that team is the agent.
Right.
Like I'm listening to you. Like at some point, the only time my first house, my mother-in-law gave us like $20,000. So I had to listen to her a little bit.
Right.
But like my agent was like, I listened to her a little bit. Yeah. Okay. My mother-in-law might listen to this as well. So perhaps I should be nice.
She always listens to you, ma'am.
I always listen to you, mama. But honestly, in any real estate transaction, my relationship to the agent is the most sacred one, because that's where my truths come to life. And that's why real estate agents like get comfortable. I agree with you, James, to the sense that like I should be comfortable telling the story, but so the evolution of this. So let's talk a little bit about brand evolution. The evolution of our industry is 2 parts. The first one is that we have more platforms than we've ever had before to tell our stories. So we should use them. The second part of the story is that there are lots of influencers and influences and content creators in the story creation, and we should use those as well. Our agent has to be comfortable creating a platform for the buyer or the seller to talk about them. And so if you have no presence, if you have no voice, if you have no brand that exists beyond your direct mail pieces or your email pieces, I don't have a way to tell that story for you. I'm not going to mail a Christmas card to everybody in the neighborhood telling them what a great agent you were. But if you have an Instagram account and you tag me, I can jump in and tag you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we have so many of those moments, right? Like I think part of the reason that ad is so successful is everyone who's ever been in a multiple offer situation and lost knows what that feels like. And every agent knows what it feels like to call that client and tell them that they won after losing 8 times, right? Every agent, like immediately in their soul, knows what that feels like. And how do you identify those, those deep well moments, right? Those moments where the water is deep and you feel it deeply. How do you, one, identify them? And then 2, it takes a certain amount of vulnerability, right? It's way easier to do a TikTok dance than to tell that story, right? So how do I, as an agent, it would not actually be easier for me to do a TikTok dance, but how do I get comfortable with that level of vulnerability? Because that's hard to do, especially in social media where someone's probably gonna make fun of your hair. Someone's probably gonna make fun of your whatever, right? Like it's not a kind place on Instagram sometimes. So how do you balance those?
I stand on lots of stages, and I've been doing this for the better part of 20 years. I've been to 48 countries. Some of them, English is not the first language, and I only speak English telling a story. And I've been sweaty and hot, and my hair has been in my face. I've had lipstick on my teeth. Like I've had like one time I had my shirt inside out. So
you probably pulled it off though. Yeah.
I was like, it's a fashion moment. It's a fashion moment. Get with it. You don't know about this. As seen on TikTok. Keith, James is really never going to allow us to be together again. So
trust me, I am just glued to this whole thing. And for those of you that are listening, you should go to YouTube and watch this because this is a whole different, thing.
But the point is that like, yes, the world is out there, but there's also, you're not talking to everyone. You're talking to the handful of people that need to hear you.
Right.
And so that's where the magic is. There's a video of me on YouTube right now where I was in the south of France, and everybody wants to go to the south of France for Cannes until they're in the south of France at Cannes, and it's 98 degrees and 147% humidity.
With no AC.
With no AC, you're like outside, and they're like lights and cameras in your face. And I have a piece of hair that's like stuck to my face, and I'm like, could no one have told me that the hair was stuck to my forehead? Like, no one, anybody?
Beverly, there's a story where Keith's on stage and the pants ripped.
Are you talking about when my butt was hanging out?
Yeah, pants ripped. Nobody told him. That was a funny one. Sorry, I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, thanks. No one's listening.
I want to just go on record and say I was on stage with Keith and his butt was completely covered.
Thank you, man.
There we go.
You.
I just want to, full
disclosure. Yeah.
Full disclosure. But like the idea that like my hair was stuck to my face and I was sweaty and Keith's butt was hanging out, like the reality is that message like could have been humorous for everyone, but the key to the insight or the key to the real opportunity to take action was for the person who needed to hear the truth of the message, right? And so in there, those are the people that I'm saying to you as a broker, you need to look for. But by the way, brokers and agents are doing this anyway in real life. Like you show up at the hair salon, you show up at the Starbucks, you show up at, your local PetSmart, and you're in line with your neighbors. And that's how we have traditionally scaled our agent opportunities in those referrals. And what I'm saying to you is there's an opportunity for you as an agent to supercharge your business by looking for other ways. And some of them are digital, not analog, ways to scale your business and tell your story and create growth opportunities, and to help expand your brand. And give me a way, because I'm going to give you an A+ rating on Google, and I'm going to go on Zillow and nominate you as one of the great, like I'm going to do all of those things because you asked me to, and we had a successful experience. But I'd love to be able to document our journey on Facebook. I'd love to be able to talk about our journey on Instagram. And you've got to give me, Miss Agent, opportunity and permission to do that. So you got to have a place for me to plug into, because if I'm doing it as a one-way voice for just myself, you don't have an opportunity to amplify that and benefit from that narrative or that story. That's the emotional connection.
Yeah. And the piece that I would add to that is, and James and I have both said this different times, but like, okay, you don't like your face, you don't like your voice. Well, you've been selling houses with that face. Like, that's the same face that sold all those damn houses over the last 20 years, right? Oh, you don't like your voice? It's the same voice you've been using
Literally.
for all of those transactions.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally your face. Like, you're fine. Go do your thing. Like,
so just for time's sakes, we're running out of time here.
Okay, let's go.
I'm going to combine these two because, well, Keith always asks the last question, so I'll turn it over to him. But what I want to do, Keith, is try to combine those last two questions we've got because I think they're relevant. So, like, what would an agent do? But where do they start? Like,
yeah. So the question we usually ask is, if you're an agent or brokerage, what's the one thing you'd implement today to help you for your business? I would like you to really building block that, right?
Yeah.
Like step by step. I assume everyone listening is like, dang, I need to be a better storyteller, right? But so you get to pick what's the one thing they should implement, but then really give them like real instructive processes, approaches. First, try this, then this conference is great if you want to be a better storyteller, whatever your answer is.
Yeah.
Sure. The first thing I would say is invest in some tools that you will need to do this, right? So if you are so let's figure out what your first thing is. Invest in tools, and we'll come back and we'll talk about the tools that I need you to like get. The second thing that I would say to you is to figure out what your superpower is, right? Like there are some things I don't do, and Keith and I are joking about dancing, but I literally don't dance because I can't. I got 2 left feet. So I kind of got like a little 1-2 step and I sway in that. But there are a couple things that I'm really, 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 really good at, right? And I lean into those things because those are my superpowers. And I just double down on those. And so let's talk about some tools that you'll need. You need to make sure that you either have a good camera or if you want to have a special camera, a good DSLR camera that you're comfortable using. But that's usually too complicated for most people. Most people could get by with an iPhone or an Android or a Google Pixel and how it works. There are lots of good videos on how it works online. And so you want to unleash the power of those devices. The second thing you're going to need is a tripod. If you're going to do this someplace in your house or in your office, you need a tripod so that the camera is steady, so that it's not shaking all over the place. The third thing you're going to need is you're going to need some sort of a microphone. And so you can use your AirPods or your headphones or whatever so that you have good audio. And you also need some level of like microphone that if you're talking to someone else, it's clipped to people's clothes. You can buy these things on Amazon. We use our social team and they're always keeping us up to date and we share these. We've had some conferences where we've offered these to agents and brokers just as a way to give you some confidence to get started. Yeah. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is...
Sorry to interrupt, but can we get that list of those items and we'll put it in the show notes? Perfect.
Absolutely.
Continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right,
we'll give you the list. You can buy these things off of Amazon less than $200.
Beautiful.
The second thing that you're going to need is you're going to need to figure out what platforms you're going to be on. Like I'm a voyeur on TikTok. Like I'm not really TikTok girly. Like I consume on TikTok. I don't create on TikTok. I am a crazy lady over on Instagram.
Yes, you are.
And I do a lot of
no
like,
hesitation.
Okay. I own it proudly. But one of the things that I do is I am the same name across all my socials. And so figure out what your name is. Don't have a different name on Pinterest and a different name on YouTube and a different name on Instagram. Like I am at BevJack everywhere. Like the SEO on that is so simple from a Google perspective. Like I don't spend any money to drive my own SEO for my brand, but at BevJack, like I use the same name everywhere. Like I'm really particular about speaking engagements and doing things where like I'm happy to come and speak on a thing, but you must use my whole name. My name is Beverly W. Jackson. That's because Beverly Jackson is a fairly common name. So I want every time you look for Beverly Jackson, the W shows up and it's referenced. I also want to make sure that when you search at BevJack on TikTok, you're like, oh, I talked to that woman. What's her name? And I'm on Instagram or I'm on Facebook or I'm on LinkedIn. I'm fairly easy to find. So that's easy. Like that's easy, simple, easy stuff to do. The third thing that you need to do when you find your platforms is everything ain't for everybody. Right? I'm not a TikTok girly. I consume there, but I'm a beast on Instagram. I don't really talk about work or business on Facebook. I use it to cyber stalk my friends from high school. I'm joking. Friends from high school. I'm
No,
joking.
you're not.
Not at all.
I do look at that guy
That
who was on
came
the
out way
football
too
team.
quick.
Yeah,
That's
that
not
one
true.
dude be like, "Yo, you did
The
not
one
age
guy-
well. You did not."
I did not say that, Keith.
Oh no, I did.
Listen here. Listen
Yeah.
here, football player guy from high school. You aged well. I love your come up. What a glow up. But I'm also powerful on LinkedIn. Like I have curated a very specific kind of LinkedIn content and I leverage those, right? My pin boards are not public. My Pinterest boards are not public facing, but I use Pinterest as inspiration for my other kind of content. And I use TikTok to understand what the trends are because the content moves so fast. Right. And so figure out what your channel mix is. So like big brand marketers would say that's your channel mix. If you are looking to build a digital presence as an agent or a broker, we would think about those as alike. And if you really want to get fancy with it, if you're really feeling, as Big Willie would say, Will Smith, if you're feeling jiggy with it, I would suggest that you build yourself a website. And again, it ought to be your name or something close to your name or, KeithBigDaddyRealtor.com.
Oh, like, see, how'd you know my handle? How did you know?
Whatever it is. But those are the places where I'm
just going to leave YouTube on this pod. I'm going to take an exit. So,
finally.
Yeah.
But that's where you get started. Like those are tangible takeaways that you can get started with. And and then, if I see you at Unlock, pull me aside, we can talk about AI and the power of AI and how to use AI to help you create content. And then we can talk about how to hack the algorithms so that you stay in front of the game. But like, those are some tangible takeaways that I do tomorrow if I were an agent looking to get started. And it doesn't matter if you're on the builder side, it doesn't matter if you're on the buyer side or the seller side.
Right.
Those are things that I would take about. And then the other thing is like, James talked about this. Zillow has a lot of big budgets. We do a lot of stuff. Like Zillow's not gatekeeping. Take the Zillow stuff and use it for your own. Take the data and go into the customer, go into the consumer trends data.
They can have access to, right? So we'll put that link in the
I look at your economic
too.
data regularly. It's one of the sources that I use for evaluating the market.
And you know what you should do is you should take that data and not take the national data trends, but drill into that data for your local area and use that data for your own thing. And I don't care if you steal it.
Can I summarize two things there and then we'll wrap here? So data insights on like what's happening, great thing to post and share out. You don't have to be like crazy, just get the data, look at it, talk about it, share it out, right? And then number two it's just my passion project, but work on sharing your customers' stories.
Yes.
Like just share customer stories, share market data, start there. You'll start to figure out other things you can share and talk about over time. And then final reminder, and I think this is great from Keith, your face is your face and your voice is your voice. Get used to it. Nobody cares.
You've been successful with it. Why?
Roll with it.
For sure.
Lead with what's working. And if you were bold enough to put your face on a public bus bench or on a billboard around town, or you send it in the mail, I'm okay with your face being on my For You feed or my Instagram feed. I'm okay. I'll scroll past you if you're unattractive.
See, Beverly Jackson likes your face, y'all. She said it. You should do it.
Beverly, thanks for being here.
Whoa, we should do a podcast, James. That was weird.
I don't know. I don't want to leave you guys. Like, this is so much fun. But the people at Zillow are going to make me do some work, I think.
Dang it.
Well, we're going to have you back because apparently you've got some new ads and things coming out. So we'll have to have you on and talk about those. But
I'll come back. I'll give you a early look at some of the good stuff we've got coming.
Appreciate you. Appreciate all you do, genuinely. So
thanks, guys. I
look forward to having you back. All right.
Of course.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Don't be left in the dark. Subscribe and leave us a comment. Unless it's bad. We hate being judged. Actually, go ahead. Leave a bad comment. Doesn't bother me.